Sometimes the most fun you can have is just throwing away the rulebook and mucking around doing whatever you feel like. That's what makes my helicopter flying lessons so exciting.
Do you take them or teach them?
Yes. This approach to freestyle fun is somewhat less risky in video games, where you can disregard all your official objectives and just fool around doing your own thing with no negative consequences, except for maybe annoying some non-player character who definitely had it coming, Winston. Join us now for a jog down memory lane as we remember those good times we went off script and made our own fun.
As everyone knows, the main character in the Legend of Zelda series is called Zelda, hence the name. I think I'd have noticed something like that. Hand me my Hyrule Historia.
What does it say?
It doesn't matter. The point is, in many Zelda games, you can name your character whatever you want. Zelda, for example, so in a way, I was right. That's just one possibility though. There are many others which provide you with a wealth of options for creating funny, weird, or downright inappropriate playthroughs. It's like New Game Plus, only with a new mood instead of new gameplay. For example, choosing Idiot as your name leads to a very confrontational feel to your playthrough as everyone you meet insults you to your face. Or why not try Bro or My Dude to give the game a laid-back surfer vibe? Or how about something totally obscene to give the game an edgy, transgressive feel? Ah, Zelda, that's gross. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Link.
Are you sure? It just sounds so wrong.
You know when you've got so much stuff to do and it's stressing you out, so instead of doing that you just lock your manservant in the fridge? Same. Even go-getting grave robbers like Lara Croft aren't immune to the universal temptation of procrastination. At least not when we're playing her.
Welcome back. After that grueling business last year, I decided to build this assault course to hone my skills and learn some new ones.
This is why at the start of Tomb Raider 2, instead of loading up the actual game, we sack off the trip to the Great Wall of China, which has death traps and spiders, and return to the Croft family mansion, which has a swimming pool and no spiders. Except, sometimes, occasionally hiding in the curtains. And when you're tooling about in old Croft Manor, you come face to wizened old face with Winston, the faithful Croft family butler, whose chief purpose is to stalk Lara with a tray of teacups like a tinkly old ghost. I told you, Winston, I don't drink tea, I'm on keto. Is that keto? What's keto? And sure, you could just ignore Winston while you speedrun the assault course for the umpteenth time, but it is 70% more fun to lure him into the walk-in refrigerator like that velociraptor in Jurassic Park, and then trap him in there where he will die of hypothermia, also like that velociraptor in Jurassic Park. And that is what you get for not catching all the spiders, Winston, you weird tea tray gremlin.
I'm Ned Jerry. From Papyrus, this is NASCAR Racing.
It's said it takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything, except cartwheels, which I mastered easily.
Show us!
No. Driving racing cars is no exception, and that means if you want to be a pro like Lewis Hamilton, that's 416 solid days of racing lines to memorise, car balance to perfect, and minimum corner speeds to improve. Bit of a shame then that the only thing we've spent 10,000 hours doing is making Instagram stories. Uh-oh, looks like a pretty bad prank, guys. Check back for more hilarious road traffic fails later. Peace. But though we're a good 9,999 or so hours from not getting constantly fired off the circuit in racing games, it took us way less time to work out another way of amusing ourselves, driving backwards. This This is not an option for Lewis Hamilton if he values his personal safety, but driving backwards has two basic game modes. One, where you attempt to avoid oncoming traffic like some sort of Jedi, and the much easier one, where you just attempt to cause the biggest accident you possibly can, like some sort of bad Jedi. Don't know what you'd call that. Yeah, practice is important, but some things you just have a natural talent for. It actually turns out though that in one game this was a valid tactic that could lead to race wins. In the original NASCAR racing game, if you set your own car to invulnerable, you could drive backwards around the oval, destroy every single opponent car, and then drive the correct way round to complete your lap count and win the race. Wow, I seem to have mastered racing games way ahead of schedule. Back to Instagram, I guess. What up, Chan fans? Just served a bunch of NASCAR chumps. Swipe up to buy the t-shirt, but no, my numbers!
We can talk about guns, or maybe you want to consider something more up close and personal.
Let's see what you got.
Something for everyone.
Anyone can pick a pocket. I mean, theoretically. I haven't tried.
Has anyone seen my wallet?
Maybe you left it at home. The real skill, however, lies in introducing items to other people's pockets in a process known as reverse pickpocketing that we made our own fun taking full advantage of in the more recent Fallout games. If you've ever put on a jacket you haven't worn for a while and discovered a banknote or chocolate bar within, you'll know that finding something nice in your pocket is an unexpected treat, which is why I personally spent a lot of time in those games sneaking around, putting gifts in people's pockets like a kind of Santa Claus with personal space issues. Precious resources, food, life-saving purified water. Although the game never acknowledges any of your Robin Hooding, in my headcanon, all these people got home to discover their unexpected windfalls, and legend began to spread around the game world of a mysterious Good Samaritan who was out there slipping treasures into people's pockets when they weren't looking. Of course, this skill doesn't just have to be used for good. If you got tired of being nice, you could always try framing someone for murder by shooting someone, then slipping the murder weapon onto an unsuspecting person's person. Or if that was too subtle, why not just slip a live grenade in there, and then just maybe take a few steps back.
Incoming!
That'll teach you to ignore all my good deeds. Unless they slip something into my pocket to say thanks. Oh no, it's still just Mike's wallet.
Hey!
Hey, Morgan, wake up. You're burning daylight.
In reality, moving home is a gigantic pain in the butt. It's only when you have to pack up and transport all the things you own that you realise Tyler Durden was right and the things you own end up owning you, especially your sofa. In sharp contrast to dumb reality, moving home in Prey is a positive delight. This we learned when, upon starting out in Morgan Yu's sleek sci-fi future flat, we decided that instead of embarking upon a scary and frankly difficult mission to save the world from freaky shape-shifting mimic monsters, we would instead take everything we owned and cram it into the nearby elevator. The combination of the plentiful loose items in Morgan Yu's apartment and Prey's physicsy item manipulation makes this the most entertaining improvised minigame about putting things on top of other things since Mike fell asleep on the office sofa. It's experimentation like this that teaches us not only that moving home can be fun, but also that Morgan Yu has a throwing arm like a quarterback. See, Tyler Durden, the things you own aren't so bad after all. Unless they turn out to secretly have been mimics in disguise, in which case they do end up owning you. Hard. Materialism.
Bartender. Bartender.
Ah, Jedis. I had no ideas. What can I do for you, honored Jedis?
I'm no Jedi. I'm just a guy with a lightsaber and a few questions.
The lightsaber is the weapon of a Jedi Knight, not as clumsy or random as a blaster, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Also, it writes real good on walls. Yes, although this artful dueling weapon of the Jedi Order was excellent for elegantly deflecting blaster fire and honourably slicing up hapless stormtroopers, it also left wicked glowing scorch marks whenever you brushed it up against a wall in Jedi Knight 2. Sales of polyfiller must go through the roof every time a Jedi turns up. That's spackle if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Naturally, being given the ability to draw pictures with the most iconic science fiction weapon of all time was a bit of a distraction, with the mission to stop the Dark Jedi Desan taking a backseat to producing the most elaborate artwork you could before the game began removing the scorch marks. What, don't you recognise Edvard Munch's The Scream when you see it? So uncultured. The biggest challenge in Jedi vandalism, though, was writing your own signature in legible text using the lightsaber, the equivalent of Alec Guinness leaving a big "Obi-Wan was here" graffiti on the side of Mos Eisley Cantina before heading off to fight Darth Vader. Ooh, close. And if you think I'm not affording the noble lightsaber the proper respect, may I remind you that George Lucas himself refers to them as laser swords.
Yeah, well, George Lucas does a lot of things.
That is true.
All right, enough fooling around. Where's reload?
Please, noble Jedis, not in the faces.
Ask any 90s kid what the first thing they'd do if they won the lottery was, and the answer would always be the same. Play a light gun game using both light guns at once, for like 1,000,000 hours. That's because at an arcade it cost twice as much money to play with two guns at once, and when you were working through your pocket money, every coin counted. As we started to earn our own money though, and with the release of home versions of light gun games, the dream of dual wielding became a very real possibility, even as our ability to tolerate hanging around arcades diminished. And so began one of our favourite non-sanctioned video game challenges, trying to play a light gun game with two light guns at once. For a start, there's the devastatingly detrimental effect trying to aim two guns at once has on your accuracy. Then the fact that, depending on the game in question, you usually also have two bodies that need to hide to avoid being shot, and to reload. Also, sometimes you end up in completely different parts of the map. All of that is of course offset by the fact that you're firing two light guns at once, which makes even the world's best light gun game 150% more fun. And, okay, 150% shorter, and 200% more expensive. Worth it!
Thank you so much for watching this video about the ways we made our own fun in video games, and please do let us know in the comments about the ways you make your own fun in games. We'd love to read them. And if you'd like to watch some more videos, we have one up here about things you can't resist doing in video games, and one down here from Outside Extra about the terrible hiding places that somehow worked out. Now, if you'd like to subscribe to the subscribe orb here, I'm going to pull off a perfect cartwheel. Ugh!